Today on Reading with Bond, we are going to be reading up on some more war history with mixed unit tactics in the 5 Years' War, Volume 1 by Codus Colanis. The legions could learn from the unconventional tactics used by the Khajit in the 5 Years' War against Valenwood. I was stationed at the Sphinx Moth Legion fort on the border near Dune and witnessed many of the northern skirmishes firsthand. The war started with the so-called slaughter of Torval. The Khajit claimed that the Bosmer invaded the city without provocation and killed over 1,000 citizens before being driven off by reinforcements from a nearby jungle tribe. The Bosmer claimed that the attack was in retaliation for Khajiti bandits who were attacking wooded caravans headed for Valenwood. In the spring of 396, the war moved closer to Fort Sphinx Moth. I was posted lookout and I saw parts of the conflict. I later spoke with both Khajit and Bosmer who fought in the battle, and it will serve as an excellent example of how the Khajit used a mixture of ground and tree units to win the war. The Khajit began the fight in their usual way by sending tree-cutting teams of Catharat, the fearsome Sentrat, or battle cats, into the outskirts of Valenwood's forest. When word reached the Bosmer that trees were being felled, allegedly a crime in the strange Bosmeri religion, a unit of archers were dispatched for larger conflicts in the south. The Bosmer were thus goaded into splitting their forces into smaller groups. The Bosmer archers took up positions in the remaining trees, whose branches were now 20 or more feet apart, allowing some light into the forest floor. The Bosmer bent the remaining trees with their magics into small fortifications from which to fire their bows. When the tree cutters arrived the next morning, half a dozen Khajit fell to Bosmer arrows in the first volley. After that, the Khajit took large wooden shields from the backs of Sentrat and made a crude shelter. The Khajit, even the enormous Sentrat, were able to hide between this shelter and one of the larger trees. When it became apparent that the Khajit would not leave their shelter, the Bosmer chose to descend and engage the Khajit sword to claw. When Bosmer were nearly upon the shelter, one of the Khajit began playing a native instrument on plucked metal bars. This was a signal of some kind, and a small group of the man-like Ohms and Ohmsrat emerged from the covered holes on the forest floor. Although outnumbered, they were attacking from behind by surprise and won the ground quickly. The Bosmer archers and the trees would have still won the battle were they not having trouble of their own. A group of Dagi and Dagirat, true of the less common forms of Khajit who live in the trees of the Tenmar forest, jumped from one tree to another under a magical cover of silence. They took up positions in the higher branches that could not hold the Bosmer's weight. When the signal came, they used their claws and either torches or spells of fire. Accounts from the two survivors I spoke with vary on this point, to distract the archers while the battle on the ground took place. A few of the archers were able to flee, but most were killed. Apparently, the Dagi and Dagirat have more magical ability than is widely believed, and if they were able to keep themselves magically silenced for so long, One of the surviving Bosmer told me that he saw a few ordinary cats among the Daji, and claimed that these ordinary cats are known as Alfik and that they were the spellcasters. But Bosmer are almost as unreliable as Khajit when it comes to the truth, and I cannot believe that a house cat can cast spells. At the end of the day, the Khajit lost perhaps half a dozen fighters out of a force of no more than 4 dozen, while the Bosmer lost nearly an entire company of archers. The survivors were unable to report back before a second company of archers arrived, and this strategy was repeated again with similar results. Finally, a much larger force was sent, and the Bosmer won that battle with the help of native animals of Valenwood. That third skirmish and the Khajit response I will discuss in the second volume of this series.